Time is cruel. It never stops for anyone, not even for someone like Takemichi Hanagaki, a man trapped in the dull gray of his own existence. 26 years old, living in a cramped apartment, working a dead-end job. His eyes empty, his spirit long broken. The days pass without purpose, and the fire that once burned inside him is nothing but fading ash. Then, one summer afternoon, he sees the news. A headline that cuts through his apathy like a blade. Hinata Tachibana, killed in a gang dispute. The Tokyo Manji gang, the same one that ruled the streets of his youth, had taken her life. The girl he once loved. The only person who ever truly believed in him. He sits there, frozen. Memories rush back. Her laugh, her warmth, the way she looked at him like he could be someone more. But that was years ago. He couldn't protect her then, and now he never will. Or so he thought. Days later, standing on a crowded train platform, life gives him one final, cruel push. Literally. A sudden shove, a blur of motion, and the sound of metal screaming beneath him. The train roars forward, the light rushes in, and Takemichi braces for the end. But instead of death, there's sunlight. He opens his eyes, gasping. He's not dead. He's young. His hair is blonde again. His school uniform smells of summer air. His phone is ancient. It's 2005. 12 years in the past. Confusion turns to panic as he realizes, somehow, he's been thrown back into the days when he was just another middle school punk, hanging out with his equally clueless friends, chasing fights, and pretending to be tough. This was the time before everything went wrong, before the regrets, before the failures, the time when he still had Hinata, when he could have made things right. Determined to understand what's happening, Takemichi wanders back into the world he'd left behind, the brutal streets ruled by delinquents. His old gang, the ones who once looked up to him, are still nobodies trying to prove themselves. And above them all stands Kiyomasa, a cruel bully who gets his thrill from beating others into submission. Kiyomasa forces Takemichi into a fight, a blood sport for his amusement. Surrounded by laughing delinquents, Takemichi is thrown into the ring, forced to fight a boy stronger, faster, and far more ruthless. Every punch sends him crashing down. Every kick reminds him of what a coward he used to be. But this time, he refuses to give up. He remembers Hinata's face, her kindness, her belief in him. His heart screams louder than the pain, and though his body is broken, he swings one last, desperate punch, shouting that he won't run anymore. The crowd goes silent. His friends stare. Even Kiyomasa stops laughing. That small act of defiance, that moment of standing tall despite the fear, it changes everything. Because two people were watching. Two names that would define Takemichi's fate forever. Manjiro Mikey Sano, and Ken Draken Ryuguchi. Mikey, the leader of the Tokyo Manji gang, small, calm, and smiling, yet behind that smile lies power that could crush anyone who stands against him. Draken, his right hand, tall, intimidating, yet with eyes that burn with loyalty and reason. When Mikey meets Takemichi, he doesn't see weakness. He sees spirit. He laughs, amused, intrigued. "You're interesting," he says, and with that, Takemichi's life changes forever. He's drawn into their world, into the core of the Tokyo Manji gang, a family built on strength, pride, and bonds forged through pain. But fate is cruel. No matter how much he enjoys the warmth of this new bond, Takemichi knows something the others don't: the future. He knows this gang will become a monster. He's seen what it becomes. He's seen the blood, the tragedy, the death. When he shakes hands with Naoto, Hinata's younger brother, the truth unfolds. Their handshake connects time itself, sending Takemichi's mind between past and future. Together they realize, if Takemichi can change the right moments in the past, he might be able to rewrite the future and save Hinata. He returns to the past with a mission: protect Draken. Because in the timeline he remembers, Draken dies, and with his death, Mikey's heart collapses. The Tokyo Manji gang crumbles into chaos and darkness. So Takemichi dives headfirst into danger. He tries to warn them, tries to stop the spark that would ignite the fire. But the streets don't listen to warnings. They only understand fists and loyalty. And then, Mobius appears. A rival gang, merciless and hungry for power. Led by Osanai, Mobius spreads fear across the city, preying on the weak and provoking war. Mikey sees through their deception, but betrayal brews inside his own ranks. Kiyomasa, the snake from before, resurfaces. He wants revenge, and he'll get it, no matter who dies in the process. Takemichi struggles to keep the peace, to keep his fragile timeline from collapsing, but the deeper he goes, the more tangled it gets. He's no longer fighting for just Hinata. He's fighting for everyone whose life will be destroyed if this gang tears itself apart. The inevitable battle comes. Mobius versus Toman. Night falls. Rain pours. The streets become rivers of mud and blood. Fists crash, bones break, and hearts tremble under the weight of loyalty and rage. Takemichi, barely standing, throws himself into the fight, not to win, but to protect. Draken faces Osanai in the heart of the chaos, a clash of titans. Osanai swings a steel pipe. Draken dodges and counters, every punch echoing with fury and pride. But as the battle rages, Kiyomasa slips through the crowd like a shadow, a knife gleaming in his hand. Takemichi sees it. He screams, running through the rain, through the fists, and screams, "Draken, behind you!" But it's too late. The blade pierces flesh, blood spills, Draken collapses. Takemichi falls to his knees beside him, begging, crying, refusing to accept it. He presses his hands to the wound, whispering that he won't let him die. Not this time. Not again. He fights like a man possessed, against Kiyomasa, against the pain, against fate itself. Their battle is messy, desperate, primal. Takemichi's fists are weak, but his will isn't. He keeps getting up, even as Kiyomasa laughs, mocking his weakness. And then, with one last scream, Takemichi tackles him to the ground, holding him there until help arrives. When dawn breaks, the streets are silent. The war is over. Draken lives. Mikey stands over the wounded, his eyes filled with both sadness and pride. For once, the Tokyo Manji gang stands united, and Takemichi, bruised and bloodied, realizes he really did it. He changed fate. But time is fragile. The future doesn't forgive so easily. When Takemichi returns to the present, Hinata is still gone. The timeline is different, but the pain remains the same. Only now, the wounds are deeper, because he's seen what could be. He keeps trying, again and again, traveling between timelines, searching for the thread that leads to salvation. Every success brings new consequences. Every failure cuts deeper. But through it all, one truth grows stronger. He's not the same coward he once was. He's fought stronger men, faced death head-on, and earned the trust of legends. Mikey smiles at him now. Draken calls him brother. And even in the chaos of Tokyo's streets, Hinata's memory burns bright in his heart. The final clash of this arc hits harder than any before. Mikey and Draken, side by side, take down Mobius's remnants in a storm of raw power. The air fills with the sound of engines and fists and shattered pride. Takemichi watches, in awe and fear, realizing he's witnessing the birth of the legend, the Tokyo Manji gang at its strongest. But he also knows that strength without heart is meaningless. His mission isn't to change who they are, it's to save who they become. As another sunset paints Tokyo in gold, Takemichi stands alone on a rooftop, staring at the city below. The boy who once ran from fights now carries the weight of a future he refuses to let die. He whispers to himself, "I'll protect them, all of them, no matter how many times I fall." Because this isn't just about revenge. It's about redemption. It's about a weak man daring to stand in a world ruled by strength. And this time, Takemichi Hanagaki will never back down. The war for the future has only begun.